whatever milestones that Black people make against hate, it ends up benefiting all the other people of color. I can't see what his end game is. The Republican Party is the party of racism, is the party of white supremacy, is the party of hate. This is wrong, and it needs to stop.
Everybody wants to go back and drag that piece of history up, but they don't want to go back and deal with what their ancestors did to the indigenous people and to Black people in this country. You got to go. And you got billionaires talking about going to space and Jeff Bezos. Go! Never come back. I hope you get lost. This man has lost his mind.
Boom! Come on, girlfriend. What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner and 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association, and I host the only online broadcast in the world for fathers and dads that is sponsored by Dove Men Care. It's also co-sponsored by Dad Central, Canada's national fatherhood organization, and I am the board chair for the Global Food and Drink Initiative, which is a multimedia not-for-profit that showcases Blacks in the diaspora. They're doing their thing in food, wine, and travel. We are broadcasting live on October 16th. I'm here based in Toronto, and we finally, I guess our springtime in October is finally over. We've got now back to normal seasonal temperature, so it's cooled off. I missed the 75-degree Fahrenheit weather in October, but it's still around. So we are here, and as usual, the best reason to be indoors on Saturday evenings is State of Things with Aisha and Jill. And Aisha and Jill, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
Pretty good, I guess.
Pretty good, you guess? Pretty good?
No, it's a wonderful day, and it's been really nice.
Nice.
To be out and about,
Yeah. So Jill was, if you follow Jill and Aisha on Instagram, as you should, Jill was having some fun the other day with her. She was wearing a beret and laughing and chuckling. What was going on there, Jill?
Oh, I just went out with my friends, Andre Simone and his wife, Catherine, and then my friend Anthony, Burnside, security extraordinaire, intelligence guy. It was just really great. They're like my little Algonquin table of, intellectual thought and critical thinking circle of friends. So we had breakfast this morning. It's been a long time, and where we all were actually together other than Zoom. So it was kind of like squeezing as much time into all the years and thoughts and great conversation into like 2 hours roughly. So yeah, it was pretty dynamic.
They're great people.
Yeah. They are.
Isn't it nice to be involved in intellectual, stimulating conversations?
Yes, we definitely need more of it.
Yeah.
It was important. It's important to have, we all have a cross section of friends that we goof around with, and then there are just others that sort of keep you on top of things and keep you connected to some of the current events. And we should probably have one of them or all of them on the show at some point.
Hey, you know what? I can have up to 10 people on at once. So we can get them all on.
Yes, he's actually been on before when we were just audio.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so. But yeah, I would love to have. So, hey, tell them the mic's open. You know what you can tell them when and at any time. Doesn't matter.
I will, for sure.
And I would love it. I would love it. Well, and Aisha is hardcore lady hoops these days, but her team last night.
Brittany Griner, Phoenix Mercury, number 42.
She was fire in the first game.
Ooh. She's fire in the second game, too. 29
wow.
points. Scored the first 12 in the first half. I mean, it was sad that they lost last night.
No, it wasn't they lost. They got whooped. They're not lost. They got whooped.
Yeah, it was an ass kicking. But I will say this, they've played the longest season of any team thus far because they didn't have a break. in between the semifinals and the finals. And like Chicago had their break of at least a week plus to just kind of rest. Phoenix, they won against Vegas in the semifinals and went on to the finals the day after or 2 days after. So there wasn't much rest there. And I mean, the Sky came with 3 jobs to do: was to keep Brittany Griner out the paint, to make Diana Taurasi lean into her injuries, and to score as many points as they could off the turnovers. And
so
that's
hold on. They got rid of Rachel Nichols at ESPN. Are you going for that job?
I was thinking
that basketball. You just laid down the whole series. I'm going, okay, like, what do you got? Some sort of board in your back with diagrams and plays and all this and defense?
I know.
That is crazy. That's fantastic. Fantastic. So welcome, Jen. Welcome, Chris. Welcome, Black Beauty. Welcome, Blue Rains. Welcome, Chris. And everyone else who's watching live on the replay. As always, please put in your comments. We absolutely love them. Now, for the regulars here, if you pray, please start praying now. And people are going to go, what happened? What happened? There is a certain one of all 3 of us who's going to Texas. Now, who do you think you'd be praying for the most of all 3 of us if we were going to Texas? So can you please put your answer in the comments, please? Right. I want to see who you would think you'd have to pray for in Texas out of all 3 of us. So I'm going to wait a second to see if anyone gets the right answer, because I want to know how much our family knows us. So
everybody's saying this.
Yes.
Okay, Jill, fess up. Why are you going there?
Well, a lot of people don't know.
Black Beauty, I'm pleading the 5th.
So my daughter moved to Texas.
Chris is going, oh no, Jill, you?
Yes,
question mark?
Of all people. My daughter moved to Texas. She was doing some music and it happened to be there. You know, Texas is cheap, but the price you ultimately pay, stingy pays twice. So I'm going down to visit for a couple days and just scope things out. You know, it's like they're doing lots of filming and stuff down there these days, and
yes,
my thought is we've got to stop that.
Just like they did to South Carolina, the NCAA wouldn't play there because of the
for their championships.
Flag.
Yeah.
Well, we need to do the same with Texas and like pull their businesses.
It's true. I mean, there's so many things we can do that.
Look at this. Look at this is we may have to land on this for about another 10-15 minutes. Tamara McCauley goes, this is purely selfish, but if you are coming to Texas, I hope you're performing somewhere.
I might show out, but I'm not sure that would be considered performing, actually. I'm gonna try not to. You know, I've been trying to figure out the perfect mask selection that will be offensive. No, you know, it is very, it's going to be interesting. I wanted to go. I did not want to go, but, you know, and believe me, of all the people to have a kid or in Texas, I'm not that mother. It's God must be putting me to the test somehow. It's been hard. She definitely did experience COVID. We had a moment which I was panicking and very, very upset.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, it's just been a challenge. But, you know, I'm sure, like they say, you know, I've got to reverse everything. It's like all the things you resist, they persist. So that was my mantra. Y'all heard how much shit I talked about it. And it's just fitting that it would be something that I would have to actually deal with. So I'm going to try to reverse that so I get rid of that whole Texas. You know, it's a horrible state. And don't think that it's made and her or anybody else that I know who goes there thinking that it's anything else. It's awful. It's just a very oppressive, and it's proving to be even more every day as the days go by.
Well, can I send you my mask that I have from it's Prince from Under the Cherry Moon holding the napkin, and it says "sweet motherfucker."
Lord of mercy.
Well, yeah, be my guest.
Oh my goodness.
Well, it's like just getting out of the gate at going through TSA and headed at the airports, and these people, I mean, we have them in California as well too, and that want to show out. So I'm kind of I'll definitely be on my guard, trying to stay outside the entire time pretty much, because they don't follow rules there. They don't believe in things like that in anything. I don't even know. I honestly am trying to not talk it up, but on a good note, yesterday was my anniversary.
Oh, happy anniversary.
And one interesting thing, we last night we ended up not going to a restaurant after looking at all these restaurants, and I was going, oh, I don't know. Everything's so overpriced, and look, I've kind of gotten away from eating meat too a little bit. Like, I don't want dead bodies on my countertops. I personally can't handle this. And also the state of things, like seeing, we had gotten a chicken a couple days back, and whatever they did to this poor chicken to kill it, they shot it with a buckshot. I don't know. It just was like, I've been done with all of that. It was just that quick. But so anyway, on our anniversary, we cooked things and made nice salads and olives and very Mediterranean. And then just put on the 3 tenors.
Very nice.
And I've got to say that trine element of like threes, we had those guys. We had Pavarotti, Carreras, and Placido Domingo. And then I started going, what other threes have we had? We've had Prince, Michael Jackson, Madonna. They were another trine of people that created a movement similar. And I was just thinking about the power of the number 3. And I honestly don't know what people, when these kids these days are going to be our age, they're never going to have that again. There will never be those kind of icons again, ever. Not for a good, the moon and the sun are going to have to go around a very long time to have that element where the change was just so profound, where the synchronicity was just, and a lot of threes coming from the 80s to now. And I'm, because I know this is going to segue into one of you guys' topics. In the celebrity thing. That's why I'm kind of building that up.
Nice.
Because they ain't it. Who we about to talk about. They ain't it.
I mean, the thing about the threes, though, it's like Madonna, Prince, and Michael Jackson came around at a time where pop was kind of fizzled and R&B was on its last leg, coming out of the Philly soul, Philly soul era. And so when they came about at the right time. It was really divine in that respect. But also when it comes to the power of threes, I'm one of 3 girls, and my mother's one of 3 girls. And so knowing that just that connection, we're like a 3-legged stool. We don't need a 4th.
Well, I'm kind of meaning it in the sense of like 3, where these people had worldwide popularity. Even the 3 tenors, I didn't know they'd sold as many as they did.
They sold a lot.
And it was holistically organic exposure. It built just because everyone was primed for it. Nowadays, like with the Adele releases and all these things, they're very manipulated. And they're very orchestrated. And we're in that business, the music industry, and this will be another talk about this, is populist. It is no different than our politics. And there is just this lack of, there's so much disingenuous behavior and actions, and it's not art anymore. I actually would have to say that the type of stardom that those people attained really was kind of holistic. And that to me, and then everybody wants to bottle it and sell it like ketchup.
Nice.
But it was very artistic, and you made that point. It was very, very artistic and organically artistic. And what you have now is really people kind of just they're walking through it, and the industry sets them up. Certain people sets everything up so that they will be ready to to sell. Everything's laid out. All the appearances are scheduled before the song comes out.
All the songs are placed in movies and TV.
Placed in movies and TV. They've got the radio stations primed and ready to play it X amount of times in an hour. So when it's released, it's like it's considered automatically a hit, but is it really a hit song?
Right. And it's true.
It's good and interesting. After our conversation last week, when we finished, all three of us were chatting and said maybe what we need to do also is maybe do shows where we just have where there's one main topic.
True.
So I think music is definitely one of those things, how it's evolved or devolved.
Well, I'd like to do that because it's like when I looked at the stats of the days where, we were Svengali'd as women and we were singing men's lyrics, to this day in 2021, there are only 14% of female songwriters.
Wow.
The industry is controlled by men. There are only 14% of female songwriters and producers, female producers.
Wow.
It is totally being monopolized by men. They are running it. And it is not equal. It is not at all. They have so much power. There are so many Me Too stories in there. And for some reason, people will not jeopardize their positions to actually open up this can, because you can see when that many men have that much control in the publishing sector, in the labels, everywhere. And you have a problem. Their allegiances to each other, and it's and they also set the tone for what our young daughters listen to. They are parroting men's words about what women feel. So we have to get on this topic, and we have to push through on this, because you can't tell me that Diane Warren is the only woman out there who's speaking for us, and she's part of the system too. She's part of that, anchor that needs to be unwedged from the ass of everybody else.
Well, I just want to add on here, and so it sounds like the Jones has spoken. So it looks like we're gonna have to. So just to go back, catching up on some comments. Tamara says, Jill, you could sing the alphabet, and that would be enough for me. Oh my God!
Thank you.
Very nice. Blue Rain saying happy anniversary.
Thanks.
Tamara's going, remember when Prince used to say, quote, real music by real musicians?
Sure did.
I miss real music. The only way I can hear, quote, real, unquote, music these days is to go back to my vinyl records and 8-track cassettes, LOL. And Chris is going, it's rubber stamping. The evolution of music would so make a great singular topic show. So we have heard it from you. So we will, I say sometime in the next 2 or 3 weeks, we gonna do it. And we're going to give you advance notice on it that we're going to do that. So thank you, everybody. We went from Texas to the evolution of de-evolution of music. Wow, what a swing. What a swing. So let's get to our first. Go ahead, Aisha. Go ahead.
Yeah, just one.
Please.
That my nephew's working on some music. My nephew's a really good musician. And I was like, oh. And I introduced him to Jill Jones as a background singer. It's like, if you want someone as a background, you get her. You get her. And my nephew was like, and he listened. He looked at your background. He was like, "Wow." That's all he wrote to me was, "Wow."
Yeah, it's, you would have thought social media would have created better collaborations, better unity.
No,
and it hasn't.
No, I think it's interesting. I think there's another conversation here. Me Too and Me Too. So Me Too in regards to the assaults on women, but people, thinking just about me
Absolutely.
too. Like
Yeah.
that word "me" has become very predominant in our North American culture, and I don't know if it's for the best.
And I also just would like to say, I call artists these days too big to fail. They're no different than Chase, Citibank, Wells Fargo. There's so many people with hands in that pie dipped in that they are going to make sure they get their dividend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's interesting. We don't have as a conversation topic this week, but I don't know if anyone saw this video that went viral about I'll say non-melanated gentleman cursing and swearing about Meek Mill's recent album cover. Has anyone heard about this?
No.
Yeah, so hopefully maybe we'll come back to it next week, but Meek Mill's album cover portrays naked black women. There's a black woman bent over and her V is portrayed, and he went on there saying, black women, is this the way you want to be portrayed? And he was cursing, using all these, because this is a joke, and it went viral. Right.
As he should have, because in my opinion, you know,
that's another there's so many myriad conversations.
Yeah. I see prison did a lot for him.
Yeah. And then I asked the question of the white man, are you really caring about us? Or are you just trying to, you know, get popular on social media?
That's the me too.
Right. There you go. There you go. So folks, during the conversation night, if you have any topics that you like us to do like a whole conversation and you would be included in it, so either you'd be giving comments or even more, we'd love you to come on and chat with us. You know, so Chris is saying yes, Ari Melber did touch on that this week.
Oh, he did. Ooh, yeah. I wonder. I'm gonna check that out because I love Ari Melber.
Yeah, so there we go. So let me just put it down here. So let's get to our first conversation topic. So actually, what we're going to do first, I'm going to show a video, folks, of make sure, hopefully we can make it play okay. I know the lighting may not be the greatest, and hopefully you're going to hear the audio okay. And let's bring up this video. Here we go.
Standing strong. What's up?
It's not playing the best.
You know, I know I can use my platform to spread positivity and spread light on the things that matter to me, you know, and I just care about our world a lot. And if I'm going to be demonized for that, at least let me go out on my own accord. You know, first things first, this isn't about me, and it's not about me dispelling, you know, what's being said about me particularly or for anybody. It's just saying, you know, I'm standing with all those that, you know, believe in what's right and are doing what's right for themselves. You know, everybody has a personal choice with their lives. You know, everybody has a right to feel a certain type of way. Everybody's entitled to their own opinions. Everybody's entitled to do what they feel is best for themselves, you know, and putting me as a hero or painting me as a villain, sort of say, or going against the vaccine mandates, like that wasn't my intent at all. And to be sitting in this seat here and seeing, you know, the way that this is dividing our world up, you know, being vaccinated or being unvaccinated, you know, it's just sad to see. It's creating a lot of division, a lot of confusion, you know, a lot of people saying things that are untrue. We're not giving space for each other to speak. You know, you got doctors out here working hard, physicians out here working hard, and everybody's trying to do what's best for them and their families, which I respect. And I'm always going to put that first. You know, everybody out there, it's not, you know, listening to me or making this about me or painting this picture like, yo, I'm the voice of reason, so you should do this. Nah, like, it's just about staying real and staying true to who you are and making the choice for you what's best. You know, everybody has their own family. Everybody has their own tribe. You know, everybody has their own issues or traumas that they're dealing with, trying to heal from. And I'm just trying to support as best I can. You know, I'm a hooper. You know, I've been a hooper since I was down there 4 years old. And, you know, coming into the NBA, I just had a dream to play ball at a high level. You know, I didn't anticipate all this coming with it. But if I am going to be responsible for my own life, then I got to speak on things that truly matter to me. You know, I had to stop running away from using my voice and using my platform to, speak on what's true and what's mine. Nobody's going to hijack my voice. Nobody's going to take the power away from me that I have for speaking on these things, and don't believe that I'm retiring. Don't believe that, I'm going to give up this game for a vaccine mandate or staying unvaccinated. Don't believe any of that shit, man. Like really be aware of what's being said before I even get a chance to be on the podium and speak for myself. You know what I'm saying? Like all these people saying all these things about what's going on with me, and it's just not true. Pay attention to what's going on out in the real world. People are losing their jobs to these mandates. People are having to make choices with their own lives, which I respect. And I don't want to sit here and play on people's emotions either. Just use logic. What would you do? If you felt uncomfortable going into the season when you were promised that you would have exemptions or that you didn't have to be forced to get the vaccine. This wasn't an issue before the season started. This wasn't something that I foresaw coming, where I prepared for it. And, I had a chance to strategize on what was going to be best for me and my family. I came into the season thinking that I was just going to be able to play ball, be able to use my talent to continue to, inspire, influence people in the right way. Like putting this on me is just like, why are you putting it on me? This is not part of, what's going on in conversations with scientists, physicians, and doctors. I'm just a hooper, right? Like I'm just a person who's being utilized as an example. For some odd reason, people love to have my name in the mix of just some BS. Like just hearing the way people speak with so much conviction about what I should be doing with my life and what, my teammates should be feeling about me, what the organization be feeling about me. And to be honest with you, if you really know me, and you see what I do out there, I put in a lot of time into my craft. I'm not sitting here to give y'all information, give y'all a whole bunch of, my wisdom beyond my years and knowledge. No, I'm just here to stay real. I'm always going to stay true to me. And that's me. This is my life. I get to do whatever I want with this. This is one body that I get here. One guy.
You certainly got enough money for it.
Me what to do with my body. And it has nothing to do with the organization. I'm going to put that out there. It has nothing to do with the Nets. It has nothing to do with my teammates. This has everything to do with what's going on in our world. And I'm being grouped in to something that's bigger than just a game of basketball. And, you got that fandom, which is like a religion to people out here. Basketball is like a religion. Entertainment is like a religion to people. They like get so caught up emotionally. It's just like, yo, effing get vaccinated or just leave. We angry at what you're doing, man. And it's just like, nah, that's like, what are you talking about? I'm a human being. I have emotions. I have feelings. I have thoughts, things that I keep to myself, things that I share. But I'm staying grounded in what I believe in. It's just as simple as that. It's not about being anti-vax or about being, on one side or the other. Like it's just really about being true to what feels good for me. I'm still uncertain about a lot of things and that's okay. If I'm going to be demonized for having more questions and taking my time to make a decision with my life, then that's just what it is. That's something I got to sit in. I know the consequences of the decisions I make with my life. I'm not here to sugarcoat any of that. But if we really going to be real, like it's crazy times we're in. It's crazy times. Like,
okay, folks, I'm going to stop this because Jill and Aisha say they are on fire. So our first conversation topic tonight is, for those who don't know who that is, that's Kyrie Irving. Very, very good, very, very, very good basketball player who plays for the New York Nets in the NBA. And he has basically refused to take the vaccine. And basically his basketball team has told him, okay, well, it's not him. It's actually the state of New York is saying that he cannot play games in New York. If he's not vaccinated, he cannot play any games in New York City. So it's basically got to the point now where his team has basically said, you're not playing until you get vaxxed. This has caused a lot of uproar. And a few weeks ago, for those who don't know, Nicki Minaj made some interesting comments about vaccine status. So I thought I'd play some of the Kyrie Irving video. It could go on for a little bit longer, but people got the gist basically. And I know that both ladies have something to say, and I can see Aisha is already shaking her head. So when Aisha shakes her head, I step back. Go ahead, Aisha.
I heard what he said. I heard him. And that was the dumbest shit I ever heard in my entire life. I had COVID. I'm vaxxed. And it was rough on me. You know, then you have this platform, but you say what you're going to say and move on. He knew about the mandate. He knew he was going to have to be vaccinated. To say that he didn't know it was sprung on him last year in the wubble for the WNBA bubble, that's when they got vaccinated. That's when they all got vaccinated. And they're at like 98% vaccinated, 99% vaccinated. And if the WNBA, it's owned by the NBA, and that was something that they had them doing, he should have already known it was going to come to the NBA, first of all. Second, yes, we make decisions for ourselves and for our families. The problem when you have a big platform like that is that other people take what you're doing and what you're saying to make decisions about their families. On one hand, it's like, yeah, I want to be me. I want to be free. I want to do what I want to do. I have this big platform but I didn't mean for it to go this way. And I'm not an expert. You're not an expert. Shut up. That's how I feel about it. It's like, okay, you decided to not get vaccinated. Okay, fine. You're taking the punishment. Okay, fine. And understand, yes, the country is divided over this issue, but it is a manufactured division that really started with the last president treating it as a political issue he could use with his base to score points and votes. Okay, we wouldn't have had this issue if we didn't have that situation. He politicized COVID, but also wants to take credit for coming up with a vaccine. And you can't have it both ways. So here we are in this position. People are killing other people, period. You might have the right, you have the right to live the way that you want to live. I have the right to live, period. And I have too much more in me. So Jill just...
Well, first of all, he's a flat earther. He believes the earth is flat. I'm not sure. He also believes that, other conspiracy theories. He engages all the time on his Instagram with conspiracy theorists, QAnon. He believes that Black people are being vaccinated so that they're hooked up to a major computer to do Satan's work. Not the sharpest knife in the drawer, guys. And he is a hooper. And maybe these hoopers should have been in class more than they were on the courts. This is what happens when they just give away those degrees and push them through because they're good players. He's dumb as a box of rocks. My personal feeling is, let him go. Go start a league somewhere else if he wants to.
Go start a league with Ice Cube.
But it's so interesting because these people are talking about Satan's work. They're doing Satan's work. Listen, bitch, you're in a situation that my church would have said you do Satan's work every fucking day when you go out there and play in entertainment. Who the hell do these people think they are? They think they have the monopoly on what form of Christianity has deemed everybody's busy work as Satanist. There are some churches that believe in a Trinity. There are some that do not. And they all call themselves Christians. Okay? So there are some that believe in blood transfusions. There are others that don't. There are other churches that believe in having church on a Saturday. Some believe Sunday. my point being, this whole Satan's work and the Lord's work, dude, you played basketball games on Sunday, unless you were on Saturday. When do you do the Lord's work? You know, it's just the way they play these games, these mind games, and how can you say that maybe it isn't Satan who put you on that platform that you got right now? You got how many people who worship you and idolize you, which is a sin, but you're worried about Black folks being hooked up to do Satan's work. Do you ever think that maybe you're the Manchurian candidate? Do you ever think that maybe they already got you and you don't remember? Please, you want to go into conspiracy theories? We can really freak ourselves out if we want to. You have a choice. He's right about that. You have a choice to go down those roads. But, you know, these choices that people are making about conspiracy theories are all external, outside of your self-belief systems. Also, even religiosity, same thing. It's all coming from external forces telling you what's going on, chitter chatter. If he internally feels he doesn't want a vaccine, but he's playing games and being passive aggressive with the league by saying, you know, I never said I didn't. He is an anti-vaxxer. You're not vaxxed. You've got enough money to go sit on it, so everybody needs to let him sit on it. Just sit on it. Who cares? I mean, there will be other great basketball players. There will be other people who now have an opportunity. Now that he's gone, there's somebody who is so excited that they're getting their chance, because you don't stop a movement or try to, this is not the way to do it. And the best thing would have been to just bow out of it and keep your mouth quiet. You would have had a lot more interest, in my opinion. I don't really care.
Just one more point, though, before you go to the audience comments.
Sure.
Here's the other weird part of it, is that there's no self-awareness here. It's like,
no.
Yes, you're making these decisions, and you're talking about the division in the world, but do you realize now you have a certain number of people who are now starting to admire you and this and that, who, when you were last year rocking your Black Lives Matter shirt and using your platform to speak out about that, were calling you a nigger. So,
no, but he joined up one of Satan's. He doesn't remember the time when Nike was Satan's work. Yeah. Remember that?
Exactly.
But that didn't preclude him from signing a contract to create sneakers. Really?
Right.
Really?
Right. But when you allow and this is the confusing part for me, for Black people, period, when you allow, and let me say, he did allow it because he opened the box. When you allow yourself to be embraced by MAGA and you don't speak out against it, I can't trust you.
But girl, he is trying to play the Harold Tupperware card, which is not Harriet Tubman for Black people. We're going to call him Harold Tupperware, because he is just crap. It's just BS, and it does lead people down the wrong road. It just does.
More Black people are going to die from what he said than are going to
and then they're going to walk away and fall off the edge of the earth, right?
Because when it comes down
if you keep walking too far, don't, because you're going to fall off.
Because when it comes down to it, the majority of his hardcore fans are Black boys. We have enough.
Okay. Flat Earther says everything. I'm sorry. I couldn't even go forward. I had read that he was a flat earther, and I just went, oh my God. Wow. This is why they need to make sure that these people get educations. They're putting them through college. Now I'm wondering, how did he get there? What else?
Well, he left. He left through after his first year, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's drafted. And that's the funny thing, is that I noticed that the men are more likely to not.
He left, or he couldn't cut
education. And
the NBA money was waved in front of him. Before we go any further, ladies, as you can tell, there is a myriad of comments, so I want to catch up before I fall too far behind. Chris says, personal choice is one thing. However, one's personal choice should never in a way result in being a potential threat to another person's health, i.e., COVID infections or Delta variant infections. Sorry, that point does not seem to be addressed. Chris is also saying, exactly, Aisha. Welcome, Serena Wills. Thank you for dropping by. Jen is saying, it's way beyond personal choice. We are still in the middle of this pandemic. And why are so many not worried about the well-being of others? He needs just to get vaccinated. Black Beauty is saying, well-spoken, Aisha. Personally, I am not at all impressed with his decision not to get vaccinated. This virus is no joke. Again, Jen is saying, well said, Aisha.
Maybe he got paid to be on his platform and lead people astray. We don't know. We don't know.
Serena says
he's the enemy.
Serena's
Can
saying,
you kill
flat
more black
earther.
people for us?
She's going. Serena goes, flat earther. In the words of many, boy, bye.
Honestly,
he needs to go. He needs to go have several seats. But here, something I just before we came on live, I saw some update. Delta Airlines has told their employees they do not have to get the jab now.
I won't be flying Delta.
Which is why I'm not flying Delta.
Interesting.
And I plan on doing a lot of flying between now and next year. I won't be flying Delta.
And they won't be, I don't know how some of those pilots think they're going to fly into, if they're flying international, they're not going to be the ones on those schedules or those routes, because I don't know how that's going to work for them. They think they're going to change the world thinking on that. You cannot fly into France. You will not be able to fly into Switzerland. You will be flying domestic. And those are some horrible gigs. That's like
Chris is saying Delta, bye-bye.
Yeah, exactly.
So folks, yeah, thank you for, as always, giving some great commentary. Keep on commenting about it. This situation continues to go on, and actually our last conversation topic will be a different aspect of this that's going on with schools and parents. So I think that what we're going to do here is we're going to go for a quick break. Just give me a second here. We're going to take a quick break for a few moments. And again, folks, keep on coming with the comments. We're having a great time here on Staggers State of Things. And we'll be back.
Wrong title.
Sorry, State of Things. State of Things with Jill and Aisha. So keep it locked. We'll be back in just a minute. So ladies, what is going on?
Just that he needs to get it together.
Sick of that. I am sick of it.
Something is seriously wrong with you.
Why is he still there?
She shouldn't be near Congress.
You need an exorcism, because I don't know what is wrong with you people.
It was so powerful.
And I really wish everybody would stop bowing down to this.
What is he talking about? This makes no sense.
They know they are not the oppressed party, but they love being the superior ones, and they want to flaunt it.
So it was always made political, particularly for people of color and the LGBTQ population.
We end off every episode with a cockroach. This episode's cockroach.
Everything.
Everything?
All the things are going on.
All the things? Mm-hmm. We are back. State of Things with Aisha and Jill. October 16th, 2021 edition with Aisha K. Staggers and Jill Jones. We just had a really robust conversation about Kyrie Irving, the jab, coronavirus, and now Delta Airlines announcing that they won't require their employees to get the jab. So it's going to be very interesting to see the fallout in regards to that. We'll be coming back to another aspect of that conversation, of the jab and conversation, but how parents are reacting in the school system, especially parents of the anti-vaxxers, how they're responding. But before that, continuing saga. The current president of the United States is blocking the former president of the United States from hiding documents from the January 6th committee. Smart move by Mr. Biden, ladies? Yes or no?
Yes.
Well, it's not only the smart move, it's the legal move. I mean, the thing of it is that executive privilege stays with the office of the presidency, not the individual. Again, Trump is an ass. He's an asshole, okay? Because it's like he thinks that those privileges extend beyond the office of the presidency, which means he never understood the job. He did not get the assignment right.
I think he does understand. I think he's trying to use the originals founders and that whole leg to stand on, which, if you notice, that's what they're talking about later to even justify Steve Bannon, absconding from incarceration because he would not go and answer his subpoena and he wouldn't testify. I mean, old Otis needs to be in jail. And I call him Otis because he looks like that dude from but
need the booze bag.
I thought Jill was going to bring up the Chris terminology for Bannon.
An old booze bag, but Otis was a booze bag. Chris is absolutely right. Otis was the town drunk booze bag, and on my Twitter page, I put pictures side by side, and it's uncanny the resemblance.
You should have put underneath, "Ain't nobody can miss you, Otis."
Yeah, exactly. He has been around for a long time. Steve Bannon is a ghoul. He's been around. He is a booze bag, and it shows. And he is Otis. I don't know. It was just crazy. So, with Biden going with this whole executive privilege, you're right. Trump wants to just stir up any dust that he can. But unfortunately, he's about to have a big change coming. I kind of feel that Donald Trump, things are going to shift into high gear because Jupiter goes out of his favor. I know you guys mean this astrology, but Jupiter is leaving his chart towards the end of the year. And this man has had Jupiter there for a very long time. Jupiter is your luck. He's been lucky, but it's about to shift. And he better pull down some stars and try to surround himself with some planets. Because I figure that next year there's going to be some strangeness that's going to come to the reveal. Because Biden and Bernie Sanders, if you even look, I think those two old coots are up to something because they both came for Joe Manchin in their own way. The speech that Biden gave yesterday was fantastic. I think that Joe Biden is recognizing that his lineup is the only way he's going to get anything done is through the progressives. I think he's might be seeing the light a little bit. And then you saw that Bernie Sanders came out with a 1-2 punch and kind of riled up Manchin, who therefore threw out a freaking bite-sized tweet full of way too many characters and mentioning, about the filibuster. They will do this. We just have to really believe. And I really suggest that I think it's going to happen closer to the elections. I've been saying that. I think they're going to get the 1-2. I really believe that.
I agree. I think that the filibuster is going to pass by the beginning of next year, the beginning of the election year, so that they can pass through all those things that they promised before the elections. But I will say this. The funny thing about Trump with Biden, how he's doing all of this manipulation, typically the previous president stays out of the current president's administration and just sits back and does not comment on what they're doing. They might comment on an issue, but not what they're doing. And Trump has made it his life goal, his job, because he doesn't have one anymore. His job has been to be as involved and as much of a thorn in the Biden administration as he can. Because he doesn't like not having that high of being president anymore. It's like the whole thing with now he's suing Twitter to force to let him back
suing his niece, suing Twitter. He's having another rally because he needs some more money. He
has rallies every week now.
Yeah. It's just become, he's such I think that you can even just laugh about it even more because it's really revealing itself. Right. The election for governor in Virginia that's happening right now you can see that the Republican candidate is really kind of distancing himself, doesn't really want to be like, because they're actually starting to figure out that he is a liability. And I do believe they want to charge ahead with maybe his fundamental concepts, but they don't want him in it. They don't want him in the mix.
Yeah.
And that's why he pulled rank this week and said, if you don't fix my election, none of us are going to, he's telling people, all the Republicans, not to vote at all. That threat was really like not to the Dems. It was more to the Republicans because they've started to not take his phone calls. They've started to not come when he calls them.
Well, it's interesting.
He's having some problems.
I've seen some recent polling of Republicans, and it seems that their thought process is, yes, they still want 45 to be an influence on the party, but they don't want to be having him running for president.
Thank you. Very true.
And I think I don't know if they'll really have to worry that much, because with all the voter suppression that's going on in all the states,
right,
they may not need to have them it's just funny. I'm gonna just catch up with comments because when you ladies drop knowledge bombs, the crowd goes wild. So, first off, Serena goes, "Go Biden! MAGA needs to be under the prison. He has gotten away with way too much." Chris says, "Jill the booze bag, Otis ref on FB this week cracked me up, and I needed that laugh this week. Thank you." Serena goes, "January sip, where I still live, still sets people in a panic. On a curfew in our homes, people rushing to get home by 6 p.m. and be off the streets. It was a very scary moment." She lives in the DMV, by the way.
In the DC area, not the DMV.
DC
area. DC, Maryland, Virginia.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know.
Yeah.
As long as old as I am.
Yeah, that's an East Coast thing.
Yeah. Black Beauty is saying the best thing 45 can do is to continue to tell the Republicans not to vote in 24. Hopefully they'll listen. And
not to vote in 2022.
22, true. And Serena goes, "Yes, yep, Young King, but it's too late. All his ads talk about how 45 is the reason why he's running." So apparently you're saying he's trying to move away, but
they don't want him physically there. He's basically stolen the strategy and just the hint of him, but he doesn't want him there because, Trump is bad luck. I mean, everybody he's gone physically and they actually lose. And I don't know what that's about, but they lose. When he shows up, it's like a superstition in the Republican thing now that they lose. The blonde dog face, horse face chick down with the stock market husband, and that one who was running against Warnock and all of them, they lost.
Oh, the one who used to own part of the Atlanta Dream.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
She lost, and then sounding all crazy. She sounded like somebody came and just stole her brain at nighttime, and forgot to put it back. That they just stuffed it with tissue paper. That's what she sounded like.
Well, Serena adds on here, we are in the DMV, DC, and Maryland, Virginia. I have not seen one ad here yet in Virginia where Youngkin doesn't thank 45. All of his ads, it's too late. Youngkin needs to go away too.
Yeah, I just am really hoping that he loses. I think we all are. And he might. I mean, anything's possible. I think they really can't. I don't believe any of the polls on a lot of the stuff because I think they're wrong. I don't think they're getting a good gauge on anybody. But it will be a tell-all to see what happens. But, they're stealing everything. The best thing that could probably happen, well, I don't even want to say that because I just can't say that out in public. So,
Terry McAuliffe though has a really good chance of winning there because first of all, he is a former Virginia governor, but he's coming back with a new game. So he's not he's not leaning into that. Oh, well, I did this before. I'm going to run the same way before because now he actually realizes that he cannot run the same way that he ran before because the country's not the same way it was before. And he also is as much as he can, he needs to lean into Charlottesville and remember that Trump set those people out there and someone died as a result.
Yes.
And make sure he puts as many pictures of the young lady,
Heather, Heidi, or Heather,
as possible in those ads.
But people don't care about death. This is
happened.
the thing. The Ghoul Party does not care about death.
Well,
they
I'm not
don't
talking
care
about
about.
that. I'm talking about to make
Yeah.
the Democratic Virginians get out to the polls to vote, because that's what's going to really make the difference here, is that it's going to be turnout.
You know, it would be great if the country had a heart. Like the other day, they had a hashtag running, empty shelves, Joe. You know, and you know, for me, I remember looking and I was like, okay, you can't get your Fruity Pebbles, you can't get this, but it was so obnoxiously American. We have so much food in this country. No matter what, we throw out more food than we can manage in a day. And everybody who probably could use skipping a meal every now and then,
and we're disrupting the climate.
And sitting up here saying empty shelves. How about your empty fucking hearts? You know, how about your empty fucking minds? Because that's worse to me. That's what's happened in this country. They don't care about anything. It is like Veruca Salt from, you know, Chocolate Factory. I want it now, Daddy. It's like you can't tell America.
You know that Jill's in fine form when she starts going to her Old English. When Jill goes into Old English, you know she's in fine form.
It's so embarrassing. And people from Europe had another thread going on about the nasty, ugly American. And there we are, all over. That's us. And I can't say that they are wrong. It is just like I want it now. First of all, our supermarkets always look jam-packed with food that I'm always amazed that people, more than anywhere in the world. There's no other stores that stock the way they do here. You know, they stock so much here that I'm always concerned, where do the rats go to get the food? Because there's so many rows, layers that you don't even know that there's stuff there. You know, you kind of tell people like, yo, every supermarket has rats, everything, you know. But that's what's happening, but not in America. It's all about how it looks, how we got to do this. And in certain regions, people lost a lot of things to the floods that happened because of why? Climate change. So then that begat what? Rats in supermarkets. They're everywhere in these flood zones. People are putting marigolds out to distract them. Sunflower seeds on floors. In New York, I've heard of a few going on, and in different places. But our country, with whatever Biden is trying to do, it's the first time he stepped and pushed his nose in something. And I hope he's pushing Merrick Garland. Merrick Garland. Where are you?
Just some
because
more
that's the problem. That's the problem with Steve Bannon. If they don't vote on Tuesday to incarcerate him, we're gonna then we have every right to hit the fan and hit the ceiling and hit the sky, because that's so key. We know that the House is going to vote. We know that they're voting to have him locked up, and if they don't, then our country's dead, and then we have many more people infiltrating it than we really thought who are playing in this. And then there's only a couple ways out of it.
There shouldn't even be a vote on this.
It's true. If it was just a black man up there,
like,
if that was Barack Obama, they would have all driven in their fucking pickup trucks and gone and picked him up. And let's just be honest. The thing about all of this, not to bombard the conversation, we have we're all sitting here trying to digest that America was a country that's been built for white people. That's what it is. And now we're fighting to show it's been revealed. The veil is off. That's what it was created for. And if you think those founders had any freaking sense, let me tell you something. Thomas Jefferson had an issue with the metric system because the French created it. He sounds like a real fucking bonehead too. So don't go on about how wonderful the founders were. I mean, those syphilitic old turds, we hold them up like they're deities. We hold them up like they're deities. Things need to be fixed in the Constitution. Hate speech, Hate speech is not free speech. I'm sorry. There's a big difference. Because if you have the right to throw hate speech at me, I got a right to shove my foot up your behind. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
You've got a right to play your radio and hillbilly music at me as an African-American family. I have a right to respond and retaliate.
Yeah. You throw hate speech, I throw hands.
Okay, Serena Wills just catching up here, talking about the race in Virginia. He has to lose, or we will move out of Virginia. I cannot stand another 4 years of foolishness. Early voting has already started in Virginia. Pray for us. All will be revealed on election day. Praying Terry gets in. Black Beauty. Amen, Jill. We as Americans are so uncultivated. Me mentality is actually shameful and right on regarding Merrick Garland's DOJ and lack of inclusion of all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like I said last week when I was quoting what Ellie Miss Dahl said. They should have had the papers ready because they already knew Steve Bannon was not going to show up. I don't know if they thought that this man would have a crisis of consciousness and decide all of a sudden he's going to do the right thing. When has he ever done the right thing? They should have had those papers ready, and at 11:59, tick, 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 midnight, find a judge, because the truth of the matter is
true.
There's always a judge who's awake.
Absolutely.
You can always find a judge to wake up. Get that done. 12:01, have the papers done, call the judge, get the papers done. 8 o'clock in the freaking morning the next day, pick him up, swing in on him like they did on Roger Stone. Don't even publish it. Just show up at his house with.
It's true, but we see how it's different for them, and how we already see that what applies to them and the rest of us. See, that is what the reveal is, and this is the world is watching this. Our laws are not being enforced when you're white and you're rich. You know, we have these people have the caucasity where golf ball head Bezos has decided to say that he thinks that he wants to have an agency where all the polluters, like factories, all get moved to the moon. Who the is you? So it's okay. It's the most gross American thing you could want to do, to pollute space. Think about that. This man has already junked it up. How? To the point where there's another company that was created by Apple's Wozniak has created a company that's going to clean up the junk in the moon. How much shit have they already put up there? But then what's his face played his head? These are bored little nerds. And I've said it a million times. The day you turn the keys over of this country to a bunch of angry nerds who were rejected even by their own mothers, I'm sorry. These are the angry guys at the schools. This is them.
The ones who couldn't get the girls.
And who couldn't get the girl. Now they get whatever. And God only knows what they do to the girl when they finally get her. Yeah. See, this is my whole thing. There was a reason God made some people less attractive than others. And there's a reason that some people are maybe more attractive. But we got to find balance in all of that. And I know it sounds a little superficial, but this bitch wants to take stuff and move to pollute in space. That I cannot believe this. People get too much power, too much money, and they're bored. They're bored, and they're horrible human beings. That's just disgusting to me. So there we are, and I just hope that unfortunately we're at that era. You can't shame them. You can't call people out for stuff they've done. It doesn't matter. They don't care. You could say, you eat babies for breakfast, and if it's true, America doesn't have laws that would go and arrest them. Yeah. Clearly, they are showing video of the bomber for the insurrection side by side next to Marjorie Taylor Greene. These young kids on Twitter have created it where you can see the gait is almost identical to the way Marjorie Taylor Greene walks. Even the way her right leg drags and that bow leg, it's just uncanny. And the citizens are doing the work. The only thing we don't have now is the power to go and arrest them. And I think that if anybody sees Steve Bannon out there, they should make a citizen's arrest.
All right, let's go ahead, Aisha.
We're at a point too where we have to stop saying that no one is above the law in this country. Yes, they are.
There are people who don't pay their child support and aren't allowed to leave the country, right? There are people who they enforce on the little guy every damn day, some law. And if they don't have a subpoena, they're shot by the cop when they stop and say, oh, you have a warrant for your arrest. And then they blow their brains out, black men on the side of the street. Sometimes those warrants weren't even legit. But no, Steve Bannon gets to take his big old husky self, husky man somewhere else to do what? To not show up for a congressional subpoena? Are you kidding? What would Joseph McCarthy have done? Okay? That's all I say. What would he have done?
But you know what, though? The truth is that he was one of them. Joe McCarthy would have been one of them.
I know he was, but the whole truth is, just imagine what they would do when we don't do it. See, Democrats, and here's another thing, another little piece of advice. Democrats keep sending you letters and things that you've signed up for and want you to donate money. I will not donate to a Democratic campaign at the moment until I see some action. I have said that. I was a dedicated person who would donate hard-earned money, and now no, I don't give a damn who's running. Val Demings has asked for money. All sorts of people send you emails every day. And no thank you, I won't, because I'm not seeing action.
I was
from the Democratic Party.
I had a monthly donation. I did.
Me too, and I got rid of mine
for years, and I stopped after this election. I stopped because I'm like, you're not doing anything that you even said you're going to do. What are you doing?
They're looking like, fools up there. Okay. They look like fools.
So let me catch up here. Serena's saying hate speech is not and should not be considered free speech. She loves that quote. And Chris says, Bannon has no conscience or proper hygiene. Seriously, though, Bannon needs to be locked up. When the law doesn't work or is not enforced after 45 is out of office, we can all kiss democracy goodbye.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, when the country lacks the fortitude to go and pick up the president who started the insurrection and sat by and told the National Guard and everyone to just stand by, don't move, security, don't give them any help, because he liked the fact that the size of the crowd.
I'll tell you what, knowing that the Capitol Police now have gotten emotional care dogs to be with them and whatever, I'll tell you one damn thing. Anybody, the next protest, whoever kills a dog, that will jump set everything off in this country. We don't care about people, but those people will come out of the woodworks. And I think there would be swifter justice had they killed dogs, right? Because they didn't give a damn about the poor guys who did get murdered, and they arrested one who was in on it, which we always knew. You got a little blurb in the media about that dude. He freaking flipped on his colleagues. I mean, he set them up. Can they all get around at him in the openness where they can all go and kick him in the head once? Because
that one,
that's cold. I'm sorry. That's some cold mess. And I'm not saying they need to kill dogs. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just showing that how the priorities in this country are a mess. But we also have people walking around with emotional dogs, like emotional care dogs and pets now. What's happened?
Black Beauty is saying, yep. Jill and Aisha are on fire as the rest of us. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. 60 Minutes here, your future guest right here, Dr. Vibe. Okay, well, Black Beauty.
Thank you.
Well, get me your email address, I think you're following me on Twitter. DM me or follow me on Instagram and DM me. We got space for you. We got space. Preach it, ladies. You guys are our voice. New contributor, Paul Katz. I agree with you, Jill, on how you can't shame people anymore. It's the rise of 45 that's exacerbated the problem.
Exacerbated.
It should be exacerbated. Yeah. The people who follow him see him get away with everything and think I can too.
That's it.
All
That's
right.
exactly it. And you see that even if you're raising, I don't know how these people run their households. I must have been like a, really hard person raising my daughter because, I did have a situation once with my daughter and timeouts weren't working. And I was like, damn, what am I going to do? And in the midst of being so much, I'm like, I'm going to take away your stereo. I'm taking away your iPod. I'm taking away whatever, right? She stubborn, didn't care, standing there. And then I was like, I'm taking away your bed. And so then it just, okay. And I remembered I was backed up against the wall on this. And I said, now, wow, this really escalated. She was like 10 and she was going to wear me down. And so I said, wow, I'm going to seriously have to take away her bed. Go in there and start unscrewing it. And I take away the bed and put it in the living room because New York apartments are really small, guys. I had this big old bed in the front room. And then there she was, stubborn as hell.
Sitting on it?
No, the dog Sadie was looking at her down the hallway, seeing her getting ready for bed. And she'd go, good night. And then I'd see her with a little towel and looking like freaking Gandhi going into the bedroom to go to sleep. And this went on for like a month. Like it was like, what do you do? It was a standoff. But the thing is, Democrats have lost control is what my point is. When you lose control and you make a lot of threats, you actually have to act on them. And you don't act on them when you're finally backed up against the wall. You have to always, I'm all for maintaining some kind of calm. And I know we get like, oh my God, what are we going to do? But the reality is these timeouts are not working with Republicans and you have to do something. And if it's a standoff, you have to have a little bit of tough love and don't wait till they play you because they are stubborn and they're unified. That's the difference. They are more unified. We've got the liberals and then we got the excessive liberals who are like, well, I don't think it was really right that the anti-vaxxers can't do this because, and then it just goes on and on and on. You know what I'm saying? What happened to, we all got our kids vaccinated to go to school. And I'm sorry, I wasn't none the pleased when they would send out the letters of the ones who weren't vaccinated.
Jill, you're perfect because we're segueing now. Well done. But just before we get to our last conversation piece, Serena goes, I can imagine the bed in a small New York apartment.
Yes.
You probably have to walk over the bed to get anywhere.
For a month, I just was like, what am I going to do? I'm like calling my friends. I don't know. She won't back down. So funny. Well, let's get to our final conversation piece tonight. Some school districts in America are banning books that even mention the struggles of BIPOC, LGBTQ, Holocaust, Trail of Tears, Japanese internment, MLK. Aisha, you brought this one up.
Yeah, because I saw it yesterday on Joy Reid. Joy Reid was talking about it, and then who comes after? Chris, Whining Chris, that's what I call him, came after her, and they were talking about this book banning, and they were talking about the school districts. These school board meetings, first of all, are getting out of hand. There's no order. People are coming just to scream at other people, and they're, it's like they're rooting for racism. They're rooting for sickness. They're rooting for all the things that we should find repulsive in this country. And one district, one or two districts, of course they're in the South, are banning books and telling teachers that they can't keep Chris Hayes, I know, whining Chris, but they can't keep certain books in their school, in their classroom libraries. And so they gave them a list of things, or like, because parents complained that a kid came home with a book about the Holocaust, and a parent complained about the book about the Trail of Tears, and one complained about a book on the internment camp. One complained about a book on Martin Luther King. And that children's book on Martin Luther King was way whitewashed. So even just the mention of Martin Luther King's name in a book was enough for them to put that book on this list. And they don't want them to have books that, like, one of the books that came about that was under serious contention was a book about Ruby Bridges for children. And if you don't know, Ruby Bridges was the first, as a kindergartner, to integrate a public school in her town. And she's the one that had to go to school, little 5-year-old girl with National Guardsmen, just her, every day. And all the parents pulled the kids out of the school. So she was the only child in the school that year. And so they want to ban this particular book because it makes white people look racist. It makes white people look like villains. And it's like, but it's the truth. They don't want the truth. They want these white houses and picket fences and Leave It to Beaver episodes in books where there's the books that they will allow on these issues. They also don't want any LGBTQ books because they think that encourages the children. And one of the things that I noticed was that when it came to the books that were diverse, they don't want to have those in the school, but more so, they don't want the schools to then teach these issues. So they're even going as so far into banning books, but they're going into the curriculum as well. And so we're going to have a bunch of uneducated, racist, closed-minded.
They're already uneducated.
Adults. Yeah, they're already uneducated.
They're already uneducated.
But they're going to be worse.
Read books. These little kids don't read books. They can't even write in cursive.
Yeah, but they
don't read.
But most schools have it in their curriculum that they have to have like 30
They're making
minutes
too much of it.
30 minutes
I know
of
that
reading.
they want to make more of it because they get funding. But look, that ship has sailed. Their kids are dumb as bricks.
Oh, yeah.
The thing is that this is where local community theater, music plays a very big part. This is where the media, multimedia organizations, films start getting made. This is where someone like a Beyonce or a Jay-Z have different side projects that they bring and put online on TikTok. This is where the money starts to go, because I'm telling you one thing, the more you tell your kids what they can't have, the more they'll find and look for it. You know, I've said this before, every white girlfriend I've ever had whose parent was the crazy parent who hated Black people and told their daughters that Black men and Black people had tails, they are all with Black men today. They almost were drawn to what their parents totally were forbidding them from, because people know when, you know, how crazy their parents are. There will be that group of people who are, you know, don't know about the Holocaust, the Trail of Tears, Japanese internment. They don't know anyway right now. I mean, and that goes for a lot of inner city kids. However, where there's no diversity. However, we have seen it's really tough luck. They'll just be cast out in the future. They have no future. And, you know, to bring back some vibe like Fahrenheit 451, you know, but I would say that Hollywood and all the other entertainment companies right now, there's a big door opening for you to capture that audience. And all you need is like 15 seconds and you can tell the whole story. You know, there's a vlog of somebody took of Anne Frank and turned her diary into like a blog. And it's perfect because it really is telling these stories. There's so many other creative ways. I think it's horrible how the Proud Boys and all these people are reacting and threatening these teachers. But maybe the onus here is there's just got to be other ways to tame the tiger.
Yeah.
The story's not going to die. It's not. And if it does, then that means they move censorship into other realms, like saying we can't create music or songs or have, you know, some of the biggest rappers in the world who kids like to go on one place and tell that thing on a platform in 15 seconds. Come on. These kids are swayed. They, you know, and white people older, like myself, they're afraid. I'm not white, but I'm saying like my boomer generation, they're afraid, but their kids are already there and they're ripe for the picking. And they're going to know about Japanese internment camps, and they're going to know about the Trail of Tears. And, you know, it's about time that, you know, what's a damn shame is that they would leave it up to their children to be the ones to have to try to create the healing.
Yeah.
And that they refuse to do it, as opposed to going, you know what, that was really wrong. And we need to really, you know, embrace our past and get beyond it. Nobody's perfect. None of them. Not the Vikings, not the up in Canada. None of it was perfect, what people have done to people of color and vice versa, you know. But we can't move forward until everybody, you know, finds some kind of balance in this.
The thing for me with this is that I see what you're saying,
Mhm.
but that really goes more so for middle school kids and up. My concern is children like my grandniece who are in like kindergarten and first grade, because the, you know,
Well, I hope they're
the
not talking
first,
about the Holocaust in kindergarten.
well, yeah, they have children's books that are age appropriate about these issues, that kind of, because eventually education builds on these things with the
I
issues,
get it. I
the
mean,
way that it goes. But because I remember being 20 years old teaching second graders, and the books that they had, and that one thing I took from that is that the structure of the day for elementary school kids has not really changed much. And they have these required reading segments fit into their schedule for the day. And the children pick books from within the classroom, in the classroom library. And the thing is that they are forcing publishers to now have to come out with all these books that wipe out everything. And we know they're doing it on the upper grade level, but they're doing it on the primary grade level, which is a very scary thing, because that is, children are impressionable, but young children, for a lot of them, school is where they get their socialization.
but I
And
don't think that, see, I'm a little torn on this topic then, because I'm not 100% certain that tiny young children at 5, our kids are stressed so much as it is. Dear God. I mean, we don't even let them be kids.
I'll
And
tell you
I
this,
think
though.
there's MLK. I think there's some things that are, you can take stories from things and teach them about people in the world, but to set it up, and I'm sure people who, you know, do their Passovers and things like that, their children learn at an early age, some of that. But is it really the best to, at such a young age, to break that out on your kids at 5 and 6?
But they do
Because
have
they make
but
their
they
own
do
friends.
question it. I'll say this. I'll tell you this story real quick. My sisters and myself are like 18 plus years older than our first cousins on my mother's side. One of my cousins, when she was 7, went to my mother, who was a history teacher, and said, "Tell me about the people in chains." And that was because she saw a book, or she saw an image in one of her classroom books, but they didn't really explain why the people were in chains. And so she went to my mother for the real story. But this is, you know, the kids are very perceptive about things. They're going
They're
to
only
see those
perceptive
things.
because people have no respect for children in this country. They run their damn mouths all the time. You're talking to your girlfriend on the phone about your husband or your wife or your blah, 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 and kids hear things. The worst thing in this country is how irresponsible we are with children. We let them watch shows that they shouldn't be watching. And then those kids come and tell your little kid something that they saw because it's okay in another household. There's something called just decorum. I mean, in my opinion, I think it's a little young to be breaking out that story. Of course, if it comes where you have to explain, but I do, you know, want my kids to be kids, and there's got to be a way. It's like I told everybody about when you jaywalk in Germany, and And they will turn to you and go, there are children around here in German or whatever, in English, like your behavior, you're like, well, I'm going, it says green. That wasn't the point of that lesson. The lesson was there are children, and they learn that lesson. You know, I'm not saying everybody's perfect in every country, but we do let our kids get all up in it. You know, why? Because they're making money on TikTok, letting their kids do stuff. They let, you know, I get it. We're stressed. When I had my divorce and my daughter was really little, I said some very inappropriate things with my girlfriends about this and that and that. Losing my shit. And there's no excuse for it. Our main job is to protect our kids. And some of it, they need to be, you know, I don't think that everybody, I'm not saying all of this, people of color and all of that needs to be totally censored, but it does need to be looked at what is age appropriate or to help people to address things.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It is presented in an age appropriate manner.
But people are so negligent and reckless with the information and not.
I'm not talking about parents. I'm speaking solely.
Well, that's one of the biggest problems. That's where all
I know
it's
one of the biggest problems. What I'm saying is
crazy parents got their kids up all night filming on TikTok to get some likes. It's disgusting.
But when they get to school, the education that they're given should not be censored.
It shouldn't be censored,
but white people feel okay about things that were horrible.
There are ways to tell stories, to be a great storyteller with our children. I remember the story, it was on some TV show when I was little, and it was about a Jewish boy and a Catholic girl, and they were very young, they were best friends, and their parents had the issues. And then they got on a boat and they were trying to run away, and you know, the boat capsized over a waterfall. I think they lived up in Niagara Falls or something. But the point of it is, it was really, you know, at the end of it, it was about how discrimination and all prejudices, and there's just ways. But personally, we are not there as a country with every book that's disguised with its subtle racism and all of that. Everything needs to be evaluated out on a table, and there should be a nationally, not even state. The states should not get to decide this. I think that's the problem. There's not enough, you know, national unity in this country because we've let the states determine so much. And that's why we have the separation, because they've given the states way too much power. We are a national fucking country, and we need to start acting like one. Not state by state by state with the taxes here and this is that and this is that. It needs to be a national country.
Yeah, I think most people don't realize that the Department of Education, for the entire country, their bigger focus is on higher ed.
Well, and Randy, what's her face? You know, I'm so tired of just hearing that woman's name. It's like these if people can't get the job done in a quick course, a short amount of time, move that one out and get somebody else in. It's too much. It becomes too political and politicized, and we have a very serious problem. But then it's sort of like us having lobbyists. Okay, we got rid of the earmarks when we were doing legislation. And then what happened? Oh, damn it. We have lobbyists. And that's why we have Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema, which, to be honest with you, we need to make Puerto Rico statehood and DC statehood. Get different representation and say bye-bye Sinema, bye-bye Manchin, because that's what has to be done.
And
if Democrats don't start thinking about how to get shit hook or crook, I'm done with them.
Yeah. And just a hint, the Department of Education for the country is run by he was plucked out of Connecticut from the State Department of Education.
That's great, but it's sort of like
I'm just saying because people here kind of know a little bit about.
There is so much money behind these movements, the LGBTQ, the BIPOC. You know, one interesting thing, a lot of people have an issue with Dave Chappelle right now, but my thing was how one thing he said when he said to the LGBTQ, boy, you all really knew how to organize. I got to give it to you. And he's right. But why haven't Black people, or why we are not that unified? Why? We don't have that money. We don't have that money. And here's the thing. It's just too critical of a time where we have to look what's behind the veil and who's involved in these organizations, that it's not just simple storytelling to your kids. It's like they get a whole shipment of books of somebody from the far right who gets a big payment in his bank account, and he sold a bunch of shitload of books to your kids at school or the education system. Everything here in America, because of the greed, there's always money. Follow it, because that will dictate what your kids are getting taught and what we're eating, what we're breathing, everything. It's a money thing here. And we've lost our integrity as human beings in this country.
We're going to call it on that. That this has been, wow. This is just like, it's just gone, ooh, we're flying good. So good. It's been great. I just want to get some of these last comments in. Chris is saying, yes, Aisha, I love Joy Reid. She brings the truly important topics to the table, unlike whiny Chris. We're getting new nicknames. We're going to have to start doing a biography, or no, a bibliography, a directory of names, nicknames. Boozebag, whiny Chris. We got every. I love saying boozebag because I know Jill's reaction. I love boozebag. Black Beauty saying it's a reflection of how disconnected educators of this era are, because you're elite and connected educators were always able to capture the mindset of students to rise above the ugliest stench. Paul says
before you go to the next comment, the one thing that disturbed me was Joy Reid played audio of a principal telling the teachers what they could and couldn't say, and she was just kind of rolling her eyes about like, yeah, I know, but believe me or not, parents have called and complained about this, so don't do this, don't do that.
But it's true. I mean, what do we do?
Yeah,
some of them are not infallible either. Not everybody should be a teacher just because you can't find something else to do with your life.
Hey, Paul is saying the people who want to ban books or eliminate history, one, know their backwards consciousness is dying out and they're desperate to stop that. And two, they fear minorities, justifiably fighting back.
True.
Black Beauty, of what perils of white history caused, and this made most Caucasian children rise above what their educators did in the mistreatment of others.
Their ancestors did, yeah.
Ancestors. And then Chris is saying, agreed, Jill, children need to be allowed to be just that, children.
Yeah.
And as always, Jen gets her wonderful comment at the end. Such a fabulous show, everyone. Well, such a fabulous audience, you all. That's what I want to say. That's what we all want to say. Incredible conversation. And it was funny because before we went on live, we said, are 3 topics going to be enough? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We covered a lot.
Oh, yeah. We covered more than enough. This is all good. But again, another epic conversation called State of Things with Aisha and Jill. State of Things again. State of Things. And as always, we want to ask if the ladies will be willing to share where you can contact them. First up, Jill Jones.
I am at Jill D. Jones on Twitter. If you want to find me, check me out.
And we go to Aisha Staggers.
At Aisha Staggers on Twitter, or at AK Staggers on Instagram.
Wonderful. And myself, if I can get myself here, there we go. The best place to find me is basically just go to my website, and I'm going to pull it up here in just a second if I can find it. And you know what? I can't find my website address. Well, the drvibeshow.com. That's the best place to find me. As always, I like to, here we go. The Dr. Vibe Show. There we go. The drvibeshow.com. We got it. We got it. We got it. As always, I'd like to thank everyone who caught this live. Do a roll call, and let's see. We've got Chris, Jen, Black Beauty, Paul, 01 First. Who else do we have? Serena Wills from the DMV. Thank you coming in from the DMV, who did a great, she was great earlier on last week talking about ovarian cancer awareness. Please catch out the replay. Catch the replay. Speaking about replays, thank you everyone, and those who didn't, I didn't call. It's like my head, not my heart, or you didn't make a comment. I don't have AI. Sorry, I'm not there yet. As always, we end off our conversation with this: live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Catch us next Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern time for more State of Things with Aisha and Jill. Remember, if start the prayer vigil for Jill in Texas, start it from now. Please, thank you very much. And always like to say, remember to give yourselves grace. Really do. Remember to give yourselves grace and work on being a better human each and every day. All right. And Black Beauty says, thank you, Black Beauty. What a beautiful audience, as well as our ladies and host. I don't think I want to add anything. Oh, I will say, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and Facebook. So when you subscribe, you'll get up to date on when we are going live. And as always, if you have any suggestions for topics or you'd like to join us, Black Beauty, you said you're ready to come and join us. So I'm watching you now. You said you want to come on. So, and I know that Jill has a way of getting in contact with you. So it's worldwide. You put your foot out. So I want you to make it happen. All right. Thanks again, everybody. We have an awesome time tonight. God bless. Peace to well. Keep the faith and walk good.